by Dr. Iftik Hayul Haq, cell number 033342570013. Significance of the Quran as basis of thought and action in Islam. The Quran is the last divine message and a fully, eternal and comprehensive code of conduct. According to Muslim belief, it is full of guidance for all as mentioned in this verse. Blessed is he who sent down the criterion to his servant that it may be an admonition to all creatures. 25:1. It is foundation of all belief and action for Muslims. This means that fundamental beliefs and the ways to put them into action are mentioned in it. It is Muslims' belief that the Quran is God's own word, Kalam Allah, preserved since ever. It is a glorious Quran in a preserved tablet, 85:21-22, Al-Buruj. It contains divine knowledge that the humans cannot know, as is claimed in these verses. God has sent down to you the book and has taught you what you did not know. 4:113, Al-Nisa, and they ask you about the hour. When will be its appointed time? Say, knowledge of it is with my Lord. None but He can reveal when it will occur. 7:187, Al-A'raf. It instructs Muslims to believe in fundamentals of Islam. Whosoever disbelieves in God, His angels, and His books and His messengers and the last day, he has surely wandered far astray. 4:136, Al-Nisa. It also confirms the earlier scripts and messengers who received them. To you we sent the scripture in truth, confirming the scripture that came before it. 5:48, Al-Maida, and we gave to Ibrahim, Isaac, Ishaq and Jacob, Yaqub, and ordained among his descendants, prophethood and books. 29:27, Al-Ankabut. About Hazrat Isa, Jesus Christ, it says, we sent Jesus Isa, the son of Mary, confirming the Torah that had come before him. 5:46, Al-Maida, and we sent aforetime our messengers with clear signs and sent down with them the book and the balance that men may stand forth in justice. 57:25, Al-Hadid. The Quran declares itself to be the last divine message when God told the Holy Prophet after his farewell sermon in the plain of Arafat, "This day have I perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you and have chosen for you Islam as your religion." 5:3, Al-Maida, Quran, after providing extensive details of all fundamental beliefs, guides Muslims about putting beliefs into action. It commands Muslims to observe various acts of worship, pillars of Islam, repeatedly. For example, about Salat and Zakat it says, and establish regular prayer, Salat, and pay the charity tax, Zakat. 2:43, Al-Baqarah. Regarding the act of fasting, it instructs Muslims, the month of Ramadan in which the Quran was revealed. Whosoever of you is present, let him fast the whole month. 2:185, Al-Baqarah. Further details of fasting are mentioned elsewhere. Similarly, it commands the affording Muslims to perform Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca in this verse. Pilgrimage thereto, Mecca, is a duty men owe to God, those who can afford the journey. 3 hours 97 minutes, Al-Imran. The Quran, contains guidance about linking the beliefs and acts of worship with social conduct and day-to-day affairs. This Quranic verse conveys to Muslims this important message: worship none but God, treat with kindness your parents and relatives, and orphans and those in need, and speak kindly to the people. 2 hours 83 minutes, Al-Baqarah. Quranic teachings frequently refer to God's mercy and compassion, and therefore, expect Muslims to imitate the same as can be seen in this verse. If the debtor is in difficulty, grant him time till it is easy for him to repay. But if you remit it by way of charity, that is best for you if you only know. 2:280, Al-Baqarah. Honesty and fair play are the cardinal features of a Muslim community. Therefore, Quran attaches great importance to them. It says, give measure and weight with justice. 6:152, Al-An'am. Similarly, another verse says, God commands justice, doing of good, and giving to kith and kin, and he forbids all indecent deeds and evil and rebellion. He instructs you, that you may receive admonition. 16 hours 90 minutes, Al-Nahl. Originating by Hayul Haq cell number 033342570013. The Quran guidance about the laws and the crimes and punishments. For example, about marriage it says, marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4, but if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly, then only one. For 3, Al-Nisa, another verse commands husbands to earn for the family, men are maintainers of women. For 34, Al-Nisa. Several other verses deal with the matters concerning dower money, rights of wives and details of divorce. For crime and punishment, this verse sums up the basic Islamic teachings in a concise way. We set down in the Torah for them, life for life, eye for eye, nose for nose, tooth for tooth, and wounds, an equal retaliation. Then whoever forgives it, that will be expiation for him. 545, Al-Ma'idah, this verse, while referring to equal revenge, also provides a room for forgiveness. The Quran also deals with the food laws of the Muslim community and listing permitted halal and non-permitted haram foods, as well as describes other rules concerning food. It lays down the fundamental principles of invoking God's name on all foods. Do not eat anything over which Allah's name has not been pronounced, that will be impiety. 5 hours 90 minutes, Al-Ma'idah, the same verse declares certain other food and activities as forbidden for Muslims, O you who believe. Intoxicants and gambling, dedication of stones, and divination by arrows, are an abomination of Satan's handiwork, therefore, shun them if you really wish to prosper. 5 hours 90 minutes, Al-Ma'idah, earnings by charging usury was a common pre-Islamic practice that was abolished by the Quran that warns those who disobey God of dire consequences in this regard. Those who devour usury will not stand except as stands one whom Satan by his touch has driven to madness. That is because they say, trade is like usury. But God has permitted trade and forbidden usury. 2:275, Al-Baqarah. Finally, Quran describes modesty and dress code of Muslims to make them distinct from other communities. It says, any say to the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not display their beauty and ornaments, that they should draw their veils over their bosoms. 2400 hours 31, Ulna, this is how Quran is believed to be a complete code of life by Muslims. Originated by Dr. Iftik Hayul Haq cell number 033342570013. Tafsir of the Quran. Q.A. Define the term Tafsir of Quran. Describe in detail various methods, sources of tafsir. 10. B. Why was it important to write tafsirs of the Quran? 4. ANSA. The Holy Quran is the last and eternal divine message. A special science began to develop during the life of the Prophet that dealt with the Quran. This is called Tafsir of Quran. The word tafsir is the noun form of the Arabic verb, fassar, that means explain, interpret, expound, etc. Tafsir of Quran means a detailed interpretation or exegesis of the Quranic teachings. A scholar writing a tafsir is called a mufassir, plural mufassirin, mufassiran. There are 4 main methods or sources of tafsir. The Prophet himself was the first mufassir of the Quran, as he explained the message contained in various surahs to his companions, as they were revealed to him. After his death, Hazrat Ibn Abbas is believed to have written the first tafsir of the Quran. Other earliest tafsirs were those written by Sufyan al-Thawri, 161 AH, Mujahid bin Jabir, and Tafsir al-Falabi of Ahmed bin Muhammad al-Falabi. Tafsir of Ibn Kathir is ranked among the most valuable tafsir of Quran. 1. Tafsir of Quran by Quran. This means the Quran itself explains many of its teachings. Each explanation may be given in the same surah or in some other surahs of the Quran. The Quran, during the early Makkan period, commanded the Prophet to offer extra prayer at night in a moderate way, or you wrapped in your cloak. Stand, for prayer, by night, but not all night. 73:1-2, Al-Muzammil. These verses do not specify the length of time for prayer at night. The next verses, however, elaborate it, half of it or a little less. Or a little more. 73:3-4. Similarly, at some places the Quran first asks about something in the initial verses, but then answers those in the next verses. About the Day of Judgment, it says, the day of noise and clamor. What is the day of noise and clamor? And what will explain to you what the day of noise and clamor is? That day, men will be like scattered moths, and the mountains will be like the carded wool. 101:1-5. Al-Qaria. At other places, however, the explanation is given in other surahs. For example, the Quran says, no vision can grasp him, but his grasp is over all vision. 6:103. Al-An'am. This verse tells the readers of the Quran that humans cannot see God. However, other Quranic verses explain that the pious Muslims will be blessed to see God on the Day of Judgment. Surah 75, in this regard says, some faces that day will beam, looking towards their Lord. 75:23. Al-Qiyamah. 2 verses of Surah 83 further tell us about the rejectors of the truth who won't be able to see God, and will be thrown into hell. Verily from the light of their Lord, that day, will they be veiled. Further, they will enter the fire of hell. 83:15-16. Al-Mutaffifin. Some of the Quranic verses are abrogated, mansukh verses, by some other verses, nasikh verses. For example, this verse about the waiting period was revealed first, those of you who die and leave wives behind. They, widows, shall wait for 4 months and 10 days, before remarriage. 2:234. Al-Baqarah. This was later abrogated by this verse, those of you who die and leave wives, should bequeath for their wives a year's maintenance and residence without turning them out, but if they leave their residence there is no blame on you for what they do with themselves, if it is honorable, remarriage. 2:240. Al-Baqarah. Originated by Dr. Iftik Hayul Haq, cell number 033342570013. 2. Tafsir of the Quran by the Sunnah Hadith. The Sunnah or Hadith of the Prophet expounds most of the Quranic teachings. This verse refers to this source, we revealed the Quran to you so that you explain to the people what has been sent down to them. 1644. Al-Nahl. The Quran, for example, says, we indeed granted you the abundance. 107:1. Al-Kawthar. According to a hadith reported by Anas bin Malik, the Prophet told that the word abundance referred to a special river in paradise. Sahih Muslim, Musnad Ahmed. The Quran commands the Muslims to offer salat and pay zakat, and establish regular prayer and pay the charity tax. 243. Al-Baqarah. However, details of observances of these two pillars are provided by such hadiths as, there is no prayer of the one who doesn't recite Al-Fatiha. Similarly, for zakat, he instructed, no charity tax is due on fewer than 5 camels. 3. Tafsir of the Quran by the companions. The Prophet's companions had witnessed the revelation of the Quran and seen how he acted upon its teachings. For this reason, Hazrat Aisha said, his, Prophet's, morals are the Quran. In this regard the closest companions were of special help. Included the 4 caliphs and the scribes like Abdullah bin Masud, Ubay bin Ka'ab and Zayd bin Thabit. Famous Mufassir ibn Kathir aptly remarked, for verily they, companions, knew the Quran better than anyone else due to their knowledge of the circumstances of the revelation. The reports of the companions are called the Athar. The Quran states the importance of the companions as, and if they believe as you believe then they are rightly guided. 2:137. Al-Baqarah. The companions best knew the circumstances of revelation, the Asbab al-Nuzul. These are a vital component of the tafsir. 4. Tafsir of the Tabi'in and Tabi'in. The Tabi'in learned the teachings of the Quran directly from the companions, and transmitted them to their followers, the Tabi'in. The Prophet described these people in a hadith, the best people are those of my generation, then those who come after them, Tabi'in, then those who come after them, Tabi'in. ANS.B. The Quran provides fundamentals of Islamic teachings, and at some places it gives details of some important issues. The Quran repeatedly commands its readers to ponder and to reason. For example, it says, "These are the verses of the Book of Wisdom." 10:1 Yunus, most of its teachings were explained by the Sunnah to the companions who began to write the commentaries on the Quran. Thus began the science of Tafseer. Muslim scholars of later times found the application of the Quranic teachings on rapidly changing circumstances, and this necessitated more work on Tafseer. Various commentators and Mufassirin gave their own viewpoint about various Quranic injunctions. As a result of this, different schools of fiqh legal thinking began to emerge, and that further enhanced the importance of Tafseer writing. This way, the Quranic teachings became relevant to a variety of conditions of the upcoming Muslim generations.